Hey, what's up guys, this is AF UK Tips Customs Reviews, and this is how to fix the leg articulation among a few other bits on the Legend Creation Great Saiyaman KO Bootleg. Just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who watches my videos, not just my subscribers, but if you find yourself watching my videos, I thank you. With all this FTC and copper stuff going on, I looked at my analytics for my channel, and most of my viewers are aged in between, I think it was 26 and 34, which is much like myself. I don't know if I've ever said this. My real name is Matt, and I'm currently 29. I'm going to be 30 years old in January, and it's nice to know that most of my viewers are people like myself, in the same age bracket as myself, obviously adult collectors. So yeah, I get into the leg articulation. As you can see, he's posed there with his legs wide, not together. When you first get this figure out of the pack, there is pretty much no articulation up on the hips at the top. The legs are just straight down. You can move them like towards you and behind him, but there's just no moving outwards whatsoever. So let's get in how to fix him. You'll have to take the legs straight off. I will always do it with a hairdryer. Make sure the legs are warm before you pull them off. Like any figure, it's just a ball joint, so they will just pull right off, but make sure they are nice and warm so you don't snap any of the plastic. And here he is with his legs off. So once you've heated them up nicely, the legs will just pull off of these ball joints here. These ball joints are solid, they don't move up or down, they are just stuck exactly where they are. And so the legs, to begin with, they will not move when they come out of the packaging, because all there is, what I've done here, is that I've cut in to the top of the leg the same width as the stick that's coming out that the ball peg is attached into. Before, there was no gap there, it was just a solid circle, and that goes in a good ½ centimetre. So with just that port there going onto a ball peg, it just wasn't able to move out whatsoever. So you will need a very sharp knife to make it a lot easier. This is exactly what I used to cut into the legs. So on both legs, as you can see in the top, that was not like that before. If you look straight down, that was just solid plastic with nothing but that hole. So if you cut in all the way through, don't go all the way to the end of the space, or else it will probably make the leg articulation quite loose. So it's like, if I give you an example, if that's the ball peg and here's the leg, there's too much at the top, it just goes all the way around, so it's unable to move. If you take away the top part, it is then able to move around and still grips on. So that's essentially what I've done. I've cut that top part off of the leg so it has room to move around the ball joint and still stay nice and sturdy. Again, so you can see about how far down I've cut into the leg. It's a bit awkward because it's black. So about halfway down to the seam that you see going across, I've cut down just before there. So that's how I went about cutting into the legs. Again, don't cut too far, or else you might ruin the articulation altogether. So if you're unsure, cut a little bit, try it. If it's still not working or not coming out as far as you want, take the legs off, cut a little bit again, and just keep on trying bit by bit so you don't take a huge chunk off and then just ruin it on the first go. So that's how I did it. I'll show you with the legs back on, and compared to what it can do now to when it was first in the packaging. So here he is with the legs back on. Even though I've cut into them, they still snap onto the ball peg nice and tightly, so there's no loss of grip on the joints. As you can see after I've cut, he doesn't have any wobbly legs, he's still nice and sturdy. So I haven't made him loose. So that's pretty much how he first looked. That's all you could do with the legs, that straight. Like I said, you could move them towards you and back, but coming outwards, there was just nothing there. And even if you did, because it's quite cheap plastic, you can force it out like that far, but the plastic just pulls itself back in. So now I've cut the legs and show you what you can do. I'll move them out that far, if I can get them to stand. So they'll stay there. You can't see the plastic pulling itself back in at all. Nice and wide. All I do, unfortunately, with the bootleg, the ankle articulation and the ankle pivot is awful. So he still won't really stand with his feet flat against the ground. But you can get him into all sorts of Saiyaman poses, like you saw at the start now, instead of just having straight-legged Saiyaman, because we all know you haven't bought a Saiyaman just to have him standing up straight with his crazy poses and all that. So that is how I fixed the leg articulation. Again, I'll pick him up, I'll give him a wobble, no movement whatsoever, view in there. So there's all I had to do was cut into the legs, nothing added to it, just a little bit taken away, and you will be given wonderful leg articulation like he should have had to begin with, really. There's no reason why not. But it's an easy fix. There you go, that is the legs sorted. The other thing that drove me crazy with this bootleg was the antenna. If you got annoyed with them straight out of the packaging falling off and not staying in, if you look at them now, give them a shake, they're not falling out at all. If that was the to begin with, they would have, on the first touch, they would have fallen off. So in the package you get an extra piece, this extra part, which has spare antenna on it. So what I've done is cut them off, but not exactly where the seam is. I've left an added bit of that peg onto it, and it seems to have fixed it and able to wedge them right in. So if I take one out, show you guys there, you can see on the top that extra little bit of plastic I've left on there, and it seems to have done the job and help it stick in the head without him falling off. I can now move him around and articulate him and not have to worry about spending half an hour trying to find the damn things because they've fallen off on the floor without me realising. Final thing I had to fix straight out of the packaging, his left arm part that has the transforming bracelet on it would not, the peg hole, just I could not for the life of me get any hands in there, and the peg was attached to the hand and not that part, so it was not going. They give you an extra part that doesn't have the bracelet on, and that already has a peg and a hand in it. This part was a lot better than this part, so again I heated it up to take that part off, just pull it and it will come right off. But once I did that, this part did not fit in whatsoever. But what I did is I left it under a lamp for a little while. A hairdryer will do the same thing, but it's such a small part, hairdryer might blow it around. Or no, with that being such a small part actually, drop it in a cup of hot water, leave it for about 3 minutes, and then people do it a lot less, but I feel like let the heat absorb into the plastic, it will be so much easier. Once I'd done that, it slipped straight on, and then obviously once it cools down it goes harder, so that piece is on there nice and sturdy, and the hand joints work absolutely fine, a lot better than the arm piece with the bracelet on. I don't know if your guys will be the same. Bootlegs always tend to be hit and miss and have various problems, but I've seen from everyone else's video the non-existent articulation on the legs is pretty much an all-round thing. If you buy this Legend Creation Great Saiyaman, he will have rubbish legs to begin with, unless, like I showed you, you can cut into the legs where the ball peg goes into the socket, and voila, you have leg articulation. After this fix, I'm actually super happy with this bootleg. I think it was completely worth the £15 or whatever I spent on him. You can get into all sorts of different, better poses now. But I need you guys to tell me as well, I cannot tell if that Super Saiyan head is too small for the Gohan body, right? I don't know if I can pull that off with, obviously this is the Super Saiyan head that comes with the Great Saiyaman, and I suppose it looks alright from that shot there, that looks okay, but at some angles his head just looks tiny, the Super Saiyan head. But anyways guys, Thanks for watching. I hope if you do have a Legend Creation Great Saiyaman, you will do this. It makes it so much better. And if you weren't sure on buying one for £15 or $18, $20, whatever it might be for my American friends, totally worth it. Just a little bit of cutting into, and it's actually quite a nice bootleg. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all have a good day. See you next time.